What's up, guys? Congratulations on finishing my first ever CSGO course. Right now I just wanted to take the time to talk to you a little bit about what's next and what you can do after this course to continue on your journey to mastering CSGO. So first off, I wanted to recap what we went over in this course. We started with talking about my journey. I'm going to look at my notes a little bit here as I talk. We talked about my journey to pro, setting up configurations, making sure you set up your own config, what's comfortable for you, your desktop physical setup, lining things up so that you could create consistency in your setup, your mechanics from aim, recoil, movement, grenade usage, positioning, all those things so you understand the foundation of CSGO, movement, physics. Communication, learn how to talk to others, learn how to communicate your issues, learn how to just communicate in general and be concise and clear with your communication. The different round phases, learning how to plan for early round, nade protocols, timings, mid-round, rotations, how do you decide to make a decision based on the map control you have or the opponent has, where do you move with high HP, low HP, all those things with communication in the round phases. And then we talked about how to practice, the attitude that goes into that, and kind of being process-oriented versus goal-oriented, focusing on the different ways to approach practice and how you could practice and prep for your game. So as we move forward here, I wanted to give you guys some topics and things that you could take into consideration after this course. I filmed this course and I talked about a lot of stuff, guys. But in CSGO, there's multiple maps, and I could probably film 3 of these courses. There's so many different topics to talk about and to dive into specifically, but all in due time, right, guys? Check out my YouTube channel, stuff like that. I'll reference that in a second, but for now, I want to give you guys some topics to think about moving forward. So things like rotations. Learning how to watch demos. Rotations are a big part of Counter-Strike. Learning how to watch demos can help you understand rotations, watching pros. One thing I didn't talk about in this a lot was tactics for countering oppers in various scenarios. Pistol round play. Learning how to move and shoot on pistol rounds and just be smart with guns that can't spam through walls. Aside from the deagle, of course. Bunny hopping. I didn't talk too much about bunny hopping, but that's one that could be useful in the KZ kind of surf map section I talked about. Bunny hopping can be useful if you learn how to master it. It's just going to make you better just with movement overall. How to entry frag, how to lurk. I talked a little bit about these things, but I don't want you guys overly focused on your role too early in your career. I want you to figure out your strengths and weaknesses and then figure out how to play a role. How to be a great entry fragger. There's various ways to focus on and things to focus on as an entry fragger. You're going to die a lot. And as a lurker, how do you play the lurker? How do you support your team properly? So these are topics you could research. I'm going to tell you how in a second. And then being a support player, guys, and in the way that a support player, another thing that you could research. And then one big thing that we didn't discuss, but I mentioned it, alluded to, is baiting. Smart baiting. Kill trading is another term for it, guys. Baiting is a big part of professional Counter-Strike. Knowing how to shadow somebody when you're entering a bomb site. We call it holding hands sometimes, because you want to just be far enough to where you can hold their hand, but you don't want to be lined up with them. You want to learn how to kill trade and bait effectively. And we didn't get to dive into that too much on this course, but it's something worth researching. And then last but not least, one of the things I wrote down was making your death count. Learning how to stay alive with low HP and play different scenarios with low HP is a very kind of fine skill set to learn. It's a very sensitive subject. So that's something you could look up and talk about and just kind of watch when you do demo watching. So the next thing I wanted to jump into is how you could research these things. What are some other concrete resources that you guys have to help you learn aside from my course? So first of all, YouTube series, guys. If you just want to learn some general tips on YouTube, there's so many people. War Owl, who teach a lot of basics. I have a cool series called Nades for Noobs. That's going to show you on all the main competitive maps. I think I'm missing like Cobble and Dust 2 as we speak, or Cobble and Nuke. But those are going to be a lot of ways for you to go practice grenades. I show the lineups and some of the reasons you would want to use those grenades. Watch other pros' channels. Sean Gares, Adren. These guys do great kind of tips and feedback for everybody. So, and then outside of CSGO, non-endemic books, there's stuff like Mind Gym. The stuff that I talked about in the practice section with attitude and kind of how to approach the game, that stuff can be applied from all other sports. So if you played other sports, you know exactly what I'm saying. But if you haven't played other sports, this is one thing where attitude really plays a big role in how far you can go and how you're limiting yourself in practice. So, check out Mind Gym by Gary Mack. Cool book on that. In terms of follow-up drills, guys, there's a couple of things that I want you guys to do. So these are activities. I talked about them through the course, but I just want to reiterate some things I want you to try to do depending on your goals after this course. So first thing I wrote down here was create a team or join a team. This is going to be a great way for you to just get more involved, learn from other people, and actually play real Counter-Strike. Solo queuing can be fun, but it's not the same game that I've played and loved for the last decade. So try to join a team and get on a team. Next goal, commit to regular practice. Guys, what did I say? Quality over quantity. You want to get that quality time in and start implementing some of these drills into deathmatch, spending time in your own offline server, and watching and reviewing demos. All right, guys? Next thing, there's many roads to Rome. That offline server time, guys, isn't just to do exactly what I said. Find your own tactics, find your own nades, find your own plays. Be a critic of yourself. Commit to your own reviews periodically of watching demos of yourself and then going in an offline server and just premeditating plays and scenarios, all right? So another thing I want you to do is create a pregame routine. You know, some people like to be more specific and kind of, I don't know if you'd call it superstitious, but create a pregame routine, whether it's 5 minutes of warm-up or an hour of warm-up. Maybe you wash your hands. Maybe you do a deathmatch with a certain weapon. Try to create a routine and try to stick to settings and things like that so that you can just start creating some consistency in the way you approach the game. So that when you do find your shortcomings, whether it's your recoil control, your peaks, your decision making, this, that, the other, you're not thinking about your settings and your warm up. And did I warm up right? Did I eat the right meal today? You know, if you want to eat a burrito every time like me before you play, sure, that might not be in your diet plan. Guys, find some consistency in the warm up itself. You know, all jokes aside. And then last but not least, guys, what I said, and I said it before, and I'm going to say it again, is find mentors and better players to play with. It's so important to find other people to play with, to rise your skill level, and to learn from them. You need to drop your ego, not be scared to be on the bottom of the scoreboard sometimes, and learn from better players. And last but not least, guys, the most important aspect of growth is to have fun and enjoy the process. We talked about being process-oriented versus outcome-oriented, and part of being process-oriented, guys, is having fun with the process. Enjoy it, guys. If you're not having fun, you might need to take a break from CS and just chill out, because that's the worst thing that's going to get in the way of your progress, is if you're getting frustrated and not having fun with the process. And last but not least, guys, I just want to remind you, please feel free to ask questions here on the dashboard. Hit me up on social media. So the Udemy has a cool dashboard. I'm going to answer some questions, and if any topics come up a lot, I might even film another video and add it into the course. And yeah, guys, I think that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this course. I hope you guys learn a lot. Like I said, hit me up. I'm looking forward to your feedback and hearing your thoughts on the course. And yeah, thanks, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate you being here with me and buying this course, guys.